Back to the ETF Inspector. It's Thursday, August 28th, just after market close, about 4:10 in the afternoon, and this is our daily recap video for our 4 Roundhill weekly paying dividend funds. The first 3 are 0 DTEs on the indexes, QDTE for the NASDAQ 100, XDTE for the S&P 500, and RDTE for the Russell 2000. The last one is YBTC. It's a Bitcoin covered call strategy fund. I just put it in there in this video series because it's also Roundhill and also a weekly payer, and it's also selling calls to generate income, just like these are as well, except these are selling same day expiration calls, where YBTC sells weeklies and uses a different type of synthetic position. I'm on X at ETF_inspector1. Specific to this video series, I post the trades on the 0 DTE funds each day, so you can follow along with your investment, or some people might like to trade along with the pros, and I also let you know when videos are coming out. All right, so let's take a look. Our markets, NASDAQ 100 was up 0.58%. QDTE actually beat it, 0.72%. SPX, or the S&P 500, up 0.4%. XDTE matched that with a 0.4% increase. RDT, or the Russell 2000, up 0.31%. RDTE 0.32% increase. So we'll call that a tie. Especially this early, there's still some settling out to be had. And then finally, YBTC is off of IBIT. IBIT was down 0.11%, was up all day and then dropped into the negative right at the end. So YBTC did the same and actually dropped further, which is surprising. So we'll take a look at our options and see how they did. First off, QDTE sold 379 calls against the NDX with a strike price of $23,750, collecting $20.35 premium per share. So that's more like it compared to the earlier trades this week. That's $771,000 of premium collected. When we take a look at how that made out, 23,750. NDX ended at 23,703, so well below. Doesn't cost anything to settle it out, and that's a full profit of $771,000. Holdings remain the same. We've had slight increases because our underlying has been rising. So we've got $891 million in assets under management, and that will continue to climb tomorrow when we update the holdings. So we're getting ever so close to that 900 million mark. Yesterday was declaration day. They declared 20.4493 cents per share as the distribution. We could probably get rid of our guesses and stuff now. It was 16.8% below what our guesstimate was. No change in outstanding shares, 25,520,000. You guys have access to all this information as well on Roundhill's website. You just scroll down. Right there's your outstanding shares. You can scroll down further. You can download the trade every morning if you want to. You can download the holdings files, but you're going to end up having to do it every day to keep on updating your files and your formulas, or you can just come here and watch the videos. All right. Today is Thursday, so it's X day. So as long as you had the shares today and purchased them prior to today, you will be getting your 20-cent dividend tomorrow. Same goes with XDTE and RDTE. So for XDTE, they sold 659 calls at $65.05, collecting $3.48 per share premium, or $229,000. SPX closed 65.03. That's just below the 65.05. So that cost nothing to settle, and it's a $229,000 profit. No changes in the holdings. Again, small increases based off yesterday's increase. We'll get another small increase when we download everything tomorrow because of today's increase. 9.6 million outstanding shares. You can see our share price climbed a little above the NAV. Yesterday was declaration day, 21.2107 cents per share. Today was X day. Tomorrow will be payday. And again, this one was lower than our guesstimate as well by 19%. So well below the average payment for the last month. And then RDTE. They sold calls at $23.90 as the strike price, 657 calls, collecting $2.11 share, $2.11 per share premium, or $138,000. 23.90, 23.78 is where it closed, so that's below the 23.90 strike. It doesn't cost anything to close out, and they get to keep the full premium of $138,000. All right, RDTE on the Russell 2000, they were pretty close with each other, surprisingly. So generally, when the underlying, in all three of these cases, when the underlying goes up but does not go beyond the strike price of the 0DTE calls, then generally the fund itself will beat it, because everything it holds will increase the amount of the underlying. But then they also brought in money selling those calls, so as long as they didn't have to pay anything back out, then the fund should beat the underlying. So it's a little odd today for them to be so close, even though they got to keep all the premium. There's $152 million in assets under management. So I think, no, got my numbers confused. I thought RDTE was catching XDTE, but it's not. 4.5 million outstanding shares. As you can see, the NAV at the start of the day was a little below that, which makes sense because it went up about 0.25%. We've got 6 more days till our next declaration day. We're already thinking about the next payment. We haven't even got this one yet. As long as you had the shares today, you'll be getting your 22.39 cents per share tomorrow. And I say you, me too. I have all of these funds. I have them all in my 401k though. That was 16% below our estimate. We did think it was going to be low, but we just didn't think it was going to be that low. But everything will increase in value again tomorrow because of today's increases. And then last but not least, we have YBTC. So today was actually payday for that. So there's a handful of funds out there that are paying on all different days of the week, not just Fridays. So there's actually enough to where you could buy and have every single day be a payday. So that could be fun. And they're like lots of weekly payers now. But anyway, this is slightly different, where these 0DTE funds, they just buy a deep in the money call for at some extended period of time, sometimes a few months, sometimes a year, and then they sell calls off of that. YBTC does the other form of synthetic, where they sell puts and buy calls at the exact same strike price, and obviously pick a date out in time, a couple months away, and then that will mimic the movement of the underlying, which is IBIT. So if it goes up, this will become more valuable. If it gets down, it'll become less valuable. And then they sell calls off of that, because that's just like owning shares. So today, that decrease is going to make this synthetic value go deeper into the negative. It was worth a negative 11 million, or meaning it's going to cost $11 million to close this out when the time comes. So we need that to go up before October 17th. Their weeklies, though, are doing just fine. They're going to end up keeping all the premium from that, unless there's a huge day tomorrow. They sold calls at $67.30. That's a flex option, same as their synthetic, so they get different prices available to them than we do. And as you can see, this plus 1155, that actually goes for all 3 lines. So more money came into the fund. 120,000 extra shares were purchased yesterday, and it got put to work, creating more synthetics and selling more calls. These are still 5.85% out of the money with 1 day to go. As you can see, 67.30. IBIT's only at 63.58, so we can afford a huge update tomorrow without these really costing much of anything to close out. There's 289, almost $290 million in assets under management, 6.2 million outstanding shares after yesterday's increase, and I still think there's a little bit of something off. I did say it yesterday, remember, when I said these numbers weren't making sense, and then when we did the next holdings update, it showed that things had changed. So I think we still got to change because, well, maybe not. Now, it started the day at 46.13, dropped 1/3%, and that's why it closed at 45.80. So you can forget all that. Today was your payday, so you got 49, almost 50 cents, 49.7541 cents. Surprise to the upside on that one. We like that. And we're already 5 days away from the next declaration. That'll be next Tuesday. And with markets closed on Monday, you're just going to start trading with already getting your next declaration. So that's all I've got for you. Make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Yep, that's it. So have a great day, and we'll catch you tomorrow in the last trading day of the week.